you're out there on Westwood 1 doing your thing. Like, are you in the excited part yet, or are you gotten to the part where you're starting to get a little bummed out because it's coming to an end?
There did hit a little moment on Sunday night.
Yep.
I think everybody goes through that feeling right as that final game. I think the final game was Oregon, Arizona, and as that game was wrapping up, there hit the few moments of depression hit, but man, like the games this weekend starting tonight are big time. So no, I'm still very, very excited. I had a moment of sadness, but that quickly got replaced with crunkness.
All right, Nick, I want to bring it back a little bit and talk a little Creighton. I just want to kind of start and see where you're feeling just on where this season ended. Obviously, everyone would have wished that Creighton would have. Well, I can't say everyone. Most people would have wanted Creighton to continue on, and obviously hope that they could hold on past Auburn. Where are you with where this season finished with the Blue Jays? Are you satisfied? Are you disappointed? Are you somewhere in between? What did you kind of come through once the season wrapped up?
Again, this is all probably how you answer that question is it could vary from person to person, like you pointed out. I feel like this group, given all the circumstances, and then given their draw and path and in the tournament, I feel like this group maximized. I mean, for this team to win 15 conference games, finish alone in second place, to get to the Big East Conference Tournament Championship game again, to win an NCAA tournament game against a team that was 21-2 in their last 23 games. Let's not rewrite it like, oh, Louisville wasn't that good. No, Louisville had played really good for the past 3 months, and Creighton dominated them. And then the reality is, when you're on that 8-9 line, depending on the year, that's somewhat of a death sentence. It just is. And this year in particular, I think the 1 seeds are extraordinarily good, and that just happened to be unfortunate that Creighton couldn't get off that 8-9 line and had to play the number 1 overall seed. And so given the Pop Isaacs injury, given the lack of ball handling and overall athleticism, I just felt like this group maximized. I felt like this group ended up being incredibly likable. I just cannot believe how good Stephen Ashworth was this year. Jemiah Neal, anybody that watched him play over the last couple of years at Arizona State and then watched him play in the final 3 months of the season when he became a legitimate big-time wing. I thought Kalkbrenner, you want to see a guy who had one of the greatest careers of all time finish it the right way. I felt like he had a great season and is riding off into the sunset in the right way. Sure, you want to be standing in the second weekend and take a crack at trying to get to the Final Four. But all things considered, I thought this group completely maximized. I feel good about how this season unfolded. So I'm pleased. I couldn't be more impressed with what Greg McDermott did with this group. So I feel good about it. I thought they played well in Lexington. Just came up short.
Nick, I'm glad you brought up kind of the job that Coach McDermott did this year, because I very unpopularly said, I think it was back in December when they were 7-5, I was like, this team might suck a little bit. And at the time, I think they did, to be fair. I just didn't think they were playing very good basketball. You know, we'd come off the run in Vegas that was
more of a walk,
not ideal at best. And I'm sitting there and I go, okay, by the end of the year, this might be one of Coach McDermott's best jobs he's done at Creighton, considering everything and considering where they were a third of the way into the season. Do you have any other years that you think could top this in terms of just the job that he did, or is this pretty close to the top for you?
To me, there are 2 other seasons that rise to his best. The season with Ryan Hawkins and all the freshmen.
Yeah,
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't typically win with a bunch of freshmen and a Division II transfer, and they did. And that group with Nemhard and Kaluma and the bunch, for them they got all the way to the Big East championship game. They ended up beating San Diego State in the first round, and that was the team that pushed Kansas, the eventual national champs, to the brink. I mean, they had the ball down 1 with a minute left.
Yeah.
I thought he did an incredible job. And then I've always contended, and at least I don't feel too stupid because Bruce Rasmussen always agrees with me whenever we kind of just chat and chop it up. I thought the season after Doug McDermott left.
I've always said this. I've always said this.
I thought Greg McDermott was absolutely on another level coaching. That group, if you go back and look at them, that is a Missouri Valley Conference team.
Like a third place Missouri Valley Conference team, if we're being honest.
Not even agree. Like, I'm not so sure. Like, if you were to say, put that team in the Valley, do they win the Valley? I don't think they do.
No.
And so, it was, Chapman and Zierden and Will Artino and Ricky Krecklow and that whole crew. I just felt like he had that group. He did all he could to put that group in a position to win. Mm-hmm. And if you watch, they lost a whole bunch of close games. And
like the last minute.
Came up short.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the last minute, they just kind of didn't have the stud to get him over the top. I thought that group played so hard. I just felt like he coached his butt off that year. To me, as crazy as it sounds, it's not, I'm not saying the Elite Eight year. I'm not that he did a bad job that year. I think he did a great job that year. But for me, I look at this team. I look at the team in 2022 with the freshmen and Hawkins, and I look at the team after Doug and the boys left when they're going through a little roster transition. I just felt like those 3 years in particular, he just was on another level, man.
I'm glad I'm not on an island there because I was unaware that you and Raz both shared that as one of his best coaching jobs, because I've always said, and I remember thinking it in real time, I didn't know if he could coach after the Doug years, like in terms of, because I was like, yeah, Doug, like, it's kind of like, okay, you got the best player in the country. Mm-hmm. I wasn't totally sure what this looked like moving forward. When I saw that team and I saw them be outmanned literally every single night in the Big East. And even against the other like dregs of the Big East, they were out, like they had less talent than them. And to see them absolutely never quit. And I think late in the season, like late February, took a very good Villanova team to, again, the last minute of the game. I go, oh, this guy's got it. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And you just had to wait for the talent to come, and then it did.
Yes. And the other thing that's amazing, and now it's going to have to happen again. It feels like now Greg McDermott's got to remake the roster again. And he's done it a handful of times. Whether it was, it was Doug and the boys, then it was Maurice Watson, Justin Patton, Marcus Foster, Kyrie Thomas, then it was Zagorowski, Tyshawn Alexander, Mitch Ballock, and then it was, Kaluma and Nemhard and the guys, then Shireman and Trey Alexander, and now you got, like, he's done this time and time again, and he's going to have to do it again. I think he picked up a pretty good piece in Owen Freeman. It sounds like he is on board. Mm-hmm. But they're going to have to go find some good backcourt players. They're going to find some athletic wings as well. But he's done it time and time again. But you're right, Ravi. You weren't alone in that sentiment. There was a lot of people that felt like, okay, you had a 3,000 point scorer. Let's see what things look like after Doug and all that. And I just felt like he is continually answered the bell on coaching and also doing it with a bunch of different rosters. And so it'll be interesting to see what things look like. Because now it's going to look very different without Kalkbrenner, like extremely different without Kalkbrenner. It's hard to even picture a game without Kalkbrenner. You know what I mean? Because, not only because he's so good, he just was never off the floor.
And he's been here for so long.
He's been here for so long, and for 4 straight years, you felt like he was going to play 35 minutes a game, and so now it's just going to look totally different, and it'll be fun to see what he can do. I'm not doubting that guy. I think he's big time.
Well, and kind of the funniest part of it is before Kalkbrenner, it was pretty normal for Creighton just to roll out like a 6'7" wing as their center.
Yeah, I know. And the thing that's also funny, and White Blue Review had a great kind of just bit by bit, step by step whole piece on Kalkbrenner's entire career right before senior day. And one thing that I think I even forget about is he was going to be behind Christian Bishop. Mm-hmm. It took Christian Bishop leaving to go to Texas for Kalkbrenner to really become Kalkbrenner. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of two more different players than Christian Bishop and Ryan Kalkbrenner. In fact, good point. Christian Bishop went to Texas because he wanted to play on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Christian Bishop thought he was a wing. He thought he was like a versatile 4.
So he thought he was Kaluma, basically.
He thought he was Kaluma. And So he was the center in front of Ryan Kalkbrenner. And so it's just amazing how I think, one of the things I used to think, and I still believe this to a certain extent, that, the mark of a good coach is, identity, that like, you know who you are and you are always going to be that. And I think Greg McDermott has that to a certain extent. No question about it. I think offensively in particular, you could turn on a Creighton game, and if you wouldn't see the jerseys, you would know that's Creighton, right? You would know that's Greg McDermott. But I think one of the things he's done a really good job of is being versatile defensively and switch things up and do things a little bit different. Some people are very stubborn in like, we are going to defend it. We defend it this way with this system, no matter who's on the floor and who we're playing against. Greg McDermott's not that. He's like, you know what? That guy sucks at shooting. So, we're not going to do? We're not going to go out there and guard him. You know what I mean? Or that guy's really, really quick. Our point of pickup is not going to be at half court. We're going to pick him up at 20 feet, and then, hey, we're going to handle ball screens like this. And I can go on and on and on. But he's had Kyrie Thomas be an elite defender. He turned Tyshawn Alexander. I thought he got robbed as being the Big East Defensive Player of the Year in 2020.
Agreed.
And then Kalkbrenner, like he's done it a bunch of different ways, which I think is really, really impressive defensively in particular.
Before we get you out of here, Nick, though, I want to ask, we brought up Owen Freeman coming in and being committed to Creighton, kind of taking over that Ryan Kalkbrenner spot. I tend to believe they've got a Euro coming as well that I've done a little Eurobasket deep dive on, Nick, if I'm being honest.
Breaking the tape.
No big deal. Like his game a little bit. Still working on pronunciation. Dimitrievich. We're working on it.
Nice. That sounds good. Let's go with that.
But I'm wondering if you've had time to look at, because lead guard to me, point guard is going to be the other big one that they need. I think if they can get another wing, that's nice, but I think they've got some options there. Is there, as you've watched guys go into the portal, have you started developing like a little wish list for Creighton point guards?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen for a variety of reasons. But I mean, if you've watched me, or if you've listened to me or read my tweets over the last 2 years, but this year, I think the world of Donovan Dent.
Sure.
I think Donovan Dent is just an amazing basketball player for New Mexico's point guard. For people that don't know, my guess is, I mean, he's either going to follow Richard Pitino to Xavier, or there's
go make $5 million somewhere.
Like Duke, Carolina, Kansas have reached out to him. So my guess is he's probably not going to be a Creighton Blue Jay, although that would be, if I got to watch Donovan Dent for a whole season wear a Creighton uniform, I would be beyond excited. I mean, I like Josh Dix. I'm not sure he's a lead guard, but I think Josh Dix is a heck of a player. There's been some Didon Thomas talk from UNLV, who's really, he went in the portal. He's a smaller guard, a little bit more of a scoring guard than a true distributor, but he's a good player. So I mean, for me, the wish list would certainly be Donovan Dent. But I think if you landed into somebody like a Josh Dix or a Didon Thomas, that wouldn't be those are two pretty dang good players as well. And then, there's probably going to be more players that jump in the portal as this thing progresses. But yeah, you need to shore up that backcourt in a major way. You're losing a stud in Ashworth and a guy that became a dang good player in Neal. So we'll see. I mean, I know Greg McDermott, those guys, those dudes are working their tail off right now. So then they need to.
I've kind of had a little fascination with, and I wonder what you think about this. From Cadeau from North Carolina. Like, that dude can ball a little bit. He didn't put up great numbers, but I kind of like him. Yeah,
Elliot Cadeau would be a nice. He'd be a good fit. He can play fast. I thought he. I'm with you. Like when in some ways it kind of felt like when North Carolina played well, he played well.
Yeah,
and he had 8 assists in the game against Ole Miss. He had 12 assists against San Diego State. He's 6'1". He's fast with the ball. Like, he'd be he certainly would be a a guy that would fit the Creighton system extremely well. Like, I think he's a capable scorer, but he certainly knows how to set the table for his teammates. Yeah, I'm riding with you on that. I think Elliot Cadeau would be a fantastic pickup as well.
Maybe a tiny bit more gettable than Dent as well.
Yeah, unfortunate. I know. He's been on my way. He's been on my man. This guy. I've been trying to spread the word even from last year.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, man, I'm telling y'all, like, this guy, this dude is legit. You needed this. Is amazing. And then I think people got to see, especially in the final, call it 8 minutes of that Marquette game in the first round.
Yep.
He just took over, man. Like, I mean, Stevie Mitchell. Like we know Marquette, like we know Stevie Mitchell and Chase Ross and those guys, like those are real defenders.
Mm-hmm.
And he treated them like, come on, man, like what, you're going to switch this screen. That's fine. Whatever. I got this. And he was incredible in that game. He would be my wish list top of it, but Elliot Cadeau would be fantastic as well. I'm with you on that.
That's our guy.
Man down.
That's our guy, Nick Bahe, Fox Sports, Little Westwood 1, Nick Bahe podcast. Shiki Nick.
Westwood 1, Nick Bahe.
Nick Bahe.
We appreciate it as always. Enjoy the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 this weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, gentlemen.